What's up guys, my name is Stoody. I'd like to welcome you all back to another video. In today's video, this one has been very heavily requested. So today I'm going to be doing the AFL 2024 All Australian Squad rant. Now I believe this is rant number 40 on the channel. Now to be honest with you, when it comes to All Australian, I don't really give a fuck anymore because it's shit. We all know it's shit. We all know the team is always shit. It's always full of players that don't deserve it and players that do actually deserve it always miss out. It's bullshit. So basically, I don't need to explain this to you all, but I'm going to go through every team, the players that were selected to the squad, and then I'm going to tell you guys whether they deserved it or not and maybe give a reason as to why they deserve it. And if I can think of any players that aren't in it, that should be in it, I'll let you guys know. Alright, if you guys remember how shit last one is, apparently this one's worse according to some of the people that have told me. It wouldn't surprise me if it's worse, but I don't really give a fuck, and I'm not that keen to make this video this year like I usually am every year. But I'm doing this video because it was very heavily requested by some of my biggest viewers on my channel, and because I'm about to quit the AFL community, I think it's just a nice thing to do to film a video that they requested, considering I'm in my last month in the AFL community. So let's start off with all the teams. So Adelaide don't have any players in the All Australian team. Someone said it's bullshit that they don't have any players, but to be honest with you, I can't really think of any players that deserve a spot. Like Jordan Dawson, I don't think has been good enough this year. Rory Laird definitely not good enough. Taylor Walker's been injured and all that. I can't think of anyone that's good enough, so fair enough there. But we'll have a look at Brisbane. So Harris Andrews, it's fine, I guess. He's an okay selection. Joe Danaher, that's fucking a garbage selection. You can tell who the AFL's favourites are, when they've got fucking Joe Danaher, he's a good player, but he's not a fucking superstar player. Definitely not an All-Australian player. He's constantly protected by the match fixing. You can fucking tell, when they're putting him in the All-Australian squad when he 100% does not deserve it at all. He's nowhere near the best forward in the competition. And then we've got the AFL's pet, Lachie Neale. Oh, that is fucked up. Lachie Neale has had not that great of a season. I mean, he did have a decent season after the season, but he's not a superstar. He's a good player, but he's not a superstar, and the AFL just don't understand that players that get a heap of touches doesn't automatically mean they actually do something with it. Lachie Neale does nothing with his touches. That's why he's the worst Brownlow medalist in history, and he's one of the most overrated players in AFL history. Now, the next one has to be a fucking piss take. Cam Rayner. What the fuck has he done? He's done fuck all since he did his ACL. He's an average player at best. A bust of a pick one. How in the fuck is he in the All-Australian team? The AFL always pull out one or two fucking randoms to put in the team that are just average players. They just put him in the team for no reason, just to piss people off, I think. Cam Rayner is definitely one of them. He's not an All-Australian player. He's an average player at best. And then there's Dane Zorko, which is fair enough. He's had a really good year. I won't complain about Dane Zorko. Carlton, and we all know the AFL's pet, Patrick Cripps, was obviously going to be on this. Fuck me dead. Patrick Cripps is a good player, but he's not a superstar. By far the most overrated player in the AFL. He used to be good about 7 or 8 years ago. He was a superstar, but he dropped off, and hasn't been the same since. He's had one, above average season since 2019, which was 2022, the year he falsely won the Brownlow. But other than that, he's just been reasonably average, and definitely not all Australian calibre. Charlie Curnow is fair enough, he's a superstar. Harry Mackay, I don't know, well, he's a superstar, but maybe there's a couple of better options, but yes and no for Harry Mackay. He definitely doesn't make the 22, but Wiedering, he's also in the squad. It's whatever. There's not a shitload of defenders, but I don't know if I'd have Wiedering in mind, but it's whatever. He's a good player. One of the better key defenders in the league. Collingwood, Darcy Cameron. I know he's had a good year, but he's definitely not an All-Australian caliber player. I mean, there's at least 5 better ruckmen than him in the league. And then there's Nick Dacos, who's an absolute superstar. So that's fair enough. I feel like there should be more Collingwood players. I don't know how there's only 2. Like, there's definitely a lot of Collingwood players that are All-Australian caliber. Essendon, Zach Merritt. I mean, he's definitely had an up and down season, but I guess he only just makes it in for mine. I don't know if he makes it in the 22, though. Merritt. Fremantle, Andrew Brayshaw. I mean, he's a decent player. I'm not sure he's All-Australian for mine. Jordan Clark, yeah, he's had a really good year, so I think that's a fair enough selection. With him, Luke Ryan is an obvious selection. He's an absolute superstar. Same with Cab Sarong. Also an obvious selection. And Hayden Young is, for fuck's sake. He's pretty overrated. Like, he's a good player, but idiots think he's a superstar. So, yeah, and so do the AFL for some bullshit reason. We'll move on to Geelong now. Jeremy Cameron, that's a fucking joke, has to be. I mean, he's cooked. I mean, there's way better key forwards in the game than him. It's obviously Geelong favouritism. Max Holmes, again, more Geelong favouritism. I mean, he's had his best career year, but he's not a star. Like, he's an above-average player at best. Tyson Stenkel's just a dirty dog. I mean, he's an above-average player, but he's definitely not a star or All-Australian caliber or anything like that. Gold Coast, Noah Anderson. What the fuck? Noah Anderson has had a terrible year. Fuck me dead. And then there's Sam Collins, who, I mean, he's a solid defender, but definitely not All-Australian caliber. I mean, there's Matt Rao that could definitely replace these 2 easily. Sam Flanders, where the fuck is Sam Flanders? He's clearly All-Australian. Oh my god, I can't believe they didn't put Sam Flanders in here. What the fuck? Now we leave the GWS Giants, and what the fuck, Brent Daniels? Like, there's one of the random average players that they put in there just to piss people off. I mean, and they'll put at least one of those average players in the actual 22 as well to make it look like an even bigger joke. Because that's what the AFL are, an absolute joke. And then you've got a couple of deserving players like Jesse Hogan, who won the Coleman. So, yeah, he's definitely the All-Australian full forward for mine. Then there's Lockie Whitfield, who had a really good second half of the season and has definitely put his hand up to be All-Australian since then. Moving on to Hawthorn now, and fuck me dead. Massimo D'Ambrosio. Oh, another joke. I mean, that just proves the Hawthorn favouritism right there. I mean, Massimo D'Ambrosio is an average player at best. He's not even that good. And well, how the fuck's he All-Australian? Like, fuck off. He's fucking shit. And then we've got Dylan Moore, who's an above-average player. Very good for Supercoach, but not All-Australian caliber. I mean, what the fuck are the AFL thinking? Picking Dylan Moore. Like, I can't think of any Hawthorn players that are stars or superstars. Well, I guess Sicily's a star, which we're going to get into, but he's definitely not a superstar anymore, like he used to be. So, and they've actually picked Sicily for the squad as well. Sicily has had an absolute shocking season. I mean, just because he used to be good does not mean he's still fucking good. Like, seriously, AFL, get your shit together. Melbourne, Max Gawn, that's fair enough. And that's basically the only player that deserves it for Melbourne. That's Max Gawn. Probably the first or second best ruckman in the competition. North Melbourne, Harry Sheezel. I mean, he's a superstar, so he obviously deserves it. Then there's Tristan Sherry, who's one of the most overrated players in the AFL. He dives. He's a dirty fucking cheat. I mean, how the fuck is he All-Australian caliber? He isn't. He's fucking garbage. So, more bullshit. Like, I'm not surprised. It's hard to actually be full-on pissed off. Looking at these disgusting selections, when you just know it's going to be disgusting. Port Adelaide, Zach Butters, he's a superstar, fair enough. Jason Horne-Francis, oh my god. He can definitely be All-Australian caliber at some point in his career, but he's definitely not there yet. It's a pretty obvious AFL going for potential over actual, being a superstar right now. Then there's Dan Houston, who's also a gun, so he deserves to be in there. Richmond apparently have no players, but I can name 3 players very easily that should be in it. Toby Nankervis, he's definitely a top 2 ruckman in the league. Danny Rowley, who's had a really good season. And Nick Floston, who has dominated down back. So that just clearly shows the bias against Richmond in the AFL. Not even putting those 3 players that are clear best 22 All Australian players. So you could have Jack Sinclair, who, I mean, I guess so. I won't complain about that. He may or may not be in my team. I mean, he's definitely on the fringe for mine. Sydney, Nick Blakely, oh, come on. Like, he's a good player, but he's not a star or a superstar. How the fuck are they putting him in the squad? That's a joke. Eric Gordon's not had a good year. He's been very inconsistent. How the fuck is he in the All-Australian team? Isaac Heaney definitely deserves it, though. He's definitely an All-Australian. And Chad Warner, a little bit too inconsistent for me. Like, I wouldn't have him in my fucking team either. I don't think he deserves it this year. Not as bad as Gordon, but still he's a bit inconsistent. West Coast, Jeremy McGovern, fuck me. I mean, there should not be any West Coast players. And then they've got Jake Watermelon. Well, Waterman, but I call him Watermelon. He's an above-average player at best. He's not a fucking All-Australian caliber player. Like, that's a joke. It's easy to look good in a bad team. Very easy. Western Bulldogs, Marcus Bontempelli, who is a superstar, and should be Brownlow favourite, but he won't win the Brownlow, let's just be real. Bailey Dale, I don't think he's All-Australian caliber. Like, he's a good player. Definitely not All-Australian caliber. What the fuck? And then there's Adam Treloar, who's had a fantastic year. He's a star, and I think he deserves to be All-Australian this year as well. He's been very, very good. But yeah, so you guys got your fucking rant, all right? You got your rant about the All-Australian team. It's shit, as it always is. I've given you my opinion on every single player that's been selected. I mean, I reckon I approved of 10 to 15 max in that video. And yeah, I'll do my own All-Australian team in the next day or two. I don't know when, but I'll do it. I don't know when it gets announced. I don't know if it's like this week or next week. I think it's on like a Tuesday or Wednesday they usually get announced. Well, today is Tuesday, so yeah, it could possibly be tonight. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to become a channel member. Just click the join button next to my name. Also, be sure to subscribe to my programs Sean Ducks and King Goals with Nick. Links to their channels will be in the description. Also, be sure to subscribe to my other YouTube channels. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast channel, King's Names and Stoody. Also, be sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, Stoody Archives. Links to both of those will be in the description. Also, be sure to join my Discord server, East Coast Australian Sports Community. Link to that is in the description. Also, be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts. I have Instagram, I have Twitter, and also have TikTok. The username for all those is StoodyYT. Links to all those will also be in the description. Always have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video.